some of the revisionism around Raheem Sterling, it drives me up the wall. And listen, I've got immense respect for John Cross of the Mirror. This is not me having a go at John Cross, but I do want to highlight something that he posted. I think it was earlier on this morning. So he put an article out with the title, Mikel Arteta gets what he wants from Raheem Sterling, but Arsenal star can't catch a break. And on the tweet in which he shared this story, this is what he wrote. Imagine if Mikel Arteta liked signing strikers as much as he does left backs. Raheem Sterling was excellent, and it did make you wonder. Imagine if he'd had played a bit more when he first arrived. Has to be a question on man management here. And I just found that opinion, and again, it's not personal to John Cross, so please don't take it that way. Yeah, that's not at all what I'm seeking to do. Have a go at any individual. I'm just making the point that it just seems all too revisionist for me. You look at anyone that's watched his performances this season knows that he's not been good enough. He simply hasn't been good enough. We're talking about a guy, okay, who throughout his Arsenal career has flattered to deceive, who throughout his Arsenal career has failed to live up to the expectation that was around him when he came in. He's had a glowing career prior to his arrival at Arsenal, but it's no secret that by the time we'd signed him, his powers had waned. And we were bringing him in as a squad player, as someone who we pivoted to at the last minute to try and help us through a season where we were clearly short on forwards. But when he's played, he's generally not been good enough. He had a great first half last night in what was essentially a dead rubber against a much changed PSV Eindhoven side. I'm not sitting here seeking to have a go at Raheem Sterling. This is more of a defense at suggestions that Mikel Arteta's mismanaged him. This is a fan base that demands the very best all the time, that is currently licking its wounds because we have fallen out of the Premier League title race as early as this. Yet people are now saying, and again, it's with the benefit of hindsight, that we should have been persisting with Raheem Sterling even when he wasn't playing very well. No, I think a lot of Arsenal fans have watched him and have been desperate for him to kick on and desperate for him to push on, but it's just not happened. And I think there are a lot of divides in our fan base, as there always appears to be. But I think this is something that we pretty much unanimously agree on, that Raheem Sterling hasn't lived up to the expectations, that he's not been good enough, and actually that Mikel Arteta has been well within his rights to leave him out. Could he have given him more minutes in games that were already done, in games that were already won? Could he have brought him in ahead of some of the other players that we've been bringing on when in search of goals? I myself have sat here and questioned those decisions. But the conclusion I've come to is that if Raheem Sterling is not trusted ahead of a left back or a right back when Arsenal are chasing a goal, that says so much about what we've seen at Arsenal so far on the pitch, but maybe what Mikel has seen as well on the training ground. I don't want to sit here and make this an anti-Raheem Sterling podcast, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I've got no reason to believe that he's unprofessional. I've got no reason to believe that he's got an attitude problem. I thought he spoke really, really well when he spoke to TNT Sports after the game last night. But I think based on what we've seen as fans, and obviously we see very little in comparison to the manager and people behind the scenes, he's not been good enough. And so this idea now that, well, he would have been good enough if only Mikel Arteta had managed him differently, I think is really far-fetched. And I think it's an idea born out of revisionism. And managers don't have that luxury of being revisionist and using hindsight to kind of make decisions. So, yeah, I strongly disagreed with that comment, I've got to say.